Hey, what's your problem? You have business problems? We have business solutions. Well, maybe.
Yeah.
Life is a fight.
It is.
In business, every day is a fight.
Of course.
So, hey, what's your problem?
Yes, thank you, John David Wells. Check him out at the Wells Report. Rumor has it we're going to be able to get him on the show sometime in February. That'll be a fun one to listen to. A rich, storied radio background with that guy, that's for sure. This is the What's Your Problem podcast, where we talk to Middle Tennessee business owners and professionals about all things always something. That's the impetus of the show, is that it's always something. This is a video and audio podcast. Check us out at whatsyourproblempodcast.com. Like, subscribe, be a share bear, rate us. Always looking for good 5-star ratings on all the platforms. I am your host, Jim McCarthy, with Jim McCarthy Voiceovers. And today, an old friend coming out from, he's usually like all over the state. He does like 5,000 miles a day, looking at roofs of all types, gutters, exteriors. Mr. Bo Teague from Quality Exteriors, sir. Thanks for coming out. How are you?
Hey, I'm great, Jim. Thanks for having me.
As always, we like to kick things off with something we call the Random 5, with a very smooth transition. Random 5 random questions brought to you by it'syourshow.co. If you want a podcast like this, check us out. Podcasts are the new marketing machines that allow you to really get a lot of content created naturally, where you're documenting versus creating, because you never know what comes out of a good conversation with somebody. Or other types of podcasts. It'syourshow.co. Okay, Bo, here we go. You ready?
I'm ready.
Question number 1. What's your haunted house story? Do you have one?
Yeah.
Do you?
So I was a kid, I liked to go
Yeah.
to the haunted house. Who didn't, right? And the Shelbyville JCs had a haunted house. And I was a little kid. I mean, probably 6, 7 years old. And went to this old haunted house that they'd set up. And of course, it's not there anymore. But I went with my aunt. And he's a principal now at the high school in Shelbyville.
Right.
And he was a younger guy at the time, took me, and we went in, and I got up on his shoulders, and I got scared so bad that, let's just say his neck was a little wet when I came out there.
That's an unfortunate conclusion, but hey, these things do happen.
He scared me.
You kind of take that risk when you're putting a child on your shoulders.
I guess
going
so.
through a haunted house.
I guess so.
Question number 2. What did you Google last?
What did I Google last?
I can't even remember what I did.
I mean, we all use it so much anymore. I mean, it's like, what do you not Google
I know.
last? Truthfully, I was looking up some information on cattle registry.
Yeah.
On what I needed to do on a process, because it's not just as simple as filling out a paper anymore. A lot of website stuff you have to get around. So
they got the bureaucracy involved.
Oh
apparently.
my God! Everybody's got to have a
Their hand in
multifaceted
something.
website, get you to here to here. Yeah.
Question number 3. If money and practicality weren't a problem, what would be the most interesting way to get around town?
You know, I guess the simple answer is fly, but I just don't think that's probably as cool as what I mean.
I just do the Doctor Strange portals. If I could learn that talent,
you
beautiful.
can't. Now, that's something I hadn't thought of, because you are talking to a very simple kind of guy that sitting here in amazement of all your technology. So,
well, if you can conjure a portal and go anywhere on the planet you want.
man, just what if I was just to say something a little bit more simple and I could just have the baddest trail horse that would take me wherever I want to go. You know, I wouldn't have to worry about roads or fences, and I could go as the crow flies, so to speak. You know?
There you go. Question, what was that, number 3? What are we on, number 4?
Yeah.
Okay, this is number 4. I was in radio, I can't count.
That's
What's the longest rabbit hole you've been down? These are really exhaustive questions.
No, they're good questions. They're
They are.
something that are completely random, and I have no way of preparing for any of that. So
probably this random question.
Hey, you know, hey, it's good that it just keeps me on my toes. The rabbit hole I went down it was cattle related, but I ended up looking at in the livestock industry, there are cattle farms, sheep farms, goat farms, hog farms that all produce at a high level and sell these animals at a high level. And what started as looking up something about a bull and his availability to buy semen on led me into looking at this pig farm down in Texas, and then this guy sold a Boer goat for $240,000. So I ended up looking at all these different things within the livestock industry, and that's probably the longest thing I went down.
Wow. You never know where you can go, right?
That's true.
And finally, what's the most frustrating product you own?
My phone.
Because of the amount of calls you get.
Oh, I love it and I hate it. I mean, because, you know, there's times when you want to be on it, times when you don't want to be on it, but you got to be on it. And then there's times when the phone won't work with the truck and the truck won't work with the phone, and then the programs won't play on the phone. So it's definitely a love-hate relationship with the phone.
Right. Well, there you go. That would be my similar answer as well.
Good.
The Random 5 brought to you by it'syourshow.co. Check them out. Check us out, rather. And let us know. There you go. There's the Random 5. And on with Mr. Bo Teague. So a lot of your background has been storied in the sense that there's certainly a ruggedness about you. You have a cattling background. You have you've been part of Harley Davidson at one point, from what I remember.
Yeah.
You've done a lot of different things. But when I met you, you were doing the roofing, quality exteriors, or quality roofing at that point.
Quality exteriors. It's
always been that.
There for a brief period, it was QE construction,
right.
Just because of some laws within Tennessee. We had, at one point, our company was known as quality engineering, but you can't have engineering in the name, so forced us to shorten it to QE construction. Mm-hmm. But that was just always kind of difficult to say. And then when the name Quality Exteriors came back around, because that was the name originally, that the owner of our company, Jordan Howe, had been around that company when it was Quality Exteriors before. Mm-hmm. He was able to get that name, and that's what we are today. And it's been that way since 2012.
How long have you been with them?
2009, I guess, officially. Right. My best friend started it, and I was working as an insurance agent. And there were a lot of people that didn't quite understand their policy coverages. And it's not that they were ignorant or dumb or whatever, or didn't care. Mm-hmm. It's because a lot of times, insurance is viewed as a necessity, and it's only really as it's a cost till you need it. So a lot of people don't take the time sometimes to read through their policy, that what covers what, and they can be frustrated, or the frustration of having a loss could be magnified if they don't understand their policy. So we kind of set it up to help people understand what their coverages were when it came to their insurance policies, and then help them understand if they should file a claim or not.
That's the thing, is that if an insurance agent really wanted to differentiate themselves in this day and age, with how typical deck pages look,
yep,
to a lot of people, myself included, they can look like hieroglyphics.
Yep.
Okay, I know that the coverages are on here. Yeah. I could see that this cover, you never know what isn't being left out or is being left out.
I think that comes with a good relationship with your agent.
It comes down to your agent.
Man, you got to have a good agent. Yeah. And if you don't have a good agent, I encourage you to find one, because they are, at the end of the day, a big help, even if you have a claim. So what I like to tell people is, know the big things, know what your deductible is. Know if you've got an ACV or RCV and what the coverage is, because the big cost when it comes to homeowners are going to be a lot of times your roof or exterior items. And, sometimes people assume that they have damage or think they have damage, and they really don't. And so we try to help them have a realistic expectation of what's there, give them a benchmark of what's on their roof. And then that way they know, should the insurance company be responsible, or should they be responsible as a homeowner? Because as a homeowner, we're all responsible for something,
Oh yeah, totally. I would imagine that really helped you out getting into the line of work that you're in, though.
Yeah, it did. It was a great transition. You mentioned I've been in a lot of different things, and and grateful for all those experiences. Some of those things I still do. Obviously, the cattle business and
Freezer Beef.
Freezer Beef, baby.
Do you own that URL yet, or?
No, we don't. But
is it even available?
I don't even know if it's available, Jim.
I'm gonna check.
But bellbucklebeef.com is our website.
That's your website.
Yeah, a little free plug there for my wife.
Future home of something quite cool. So it might be taken.
It might be.
This is what we do on this podcast. Very off the cuff.
Hey, great. That's what and speaking of off the cuff,
yeah.
Do you remember, Tom, how long you've known me? You remember when we did that video in your house?
Yeah. About 5 years ago.
Yeah, that was a great idea. And I like this so much better.
The vids.
Yeah. Yeah, I like this a lot better.
You like this a lot better?
Yeah, I mean, the
video, you feel like you're on stage.
Yeah, I told my wife, she said, "Oh, baby, it was so good." And I was like, I'd rather do this because it's more off the cuff and we're sitting here talking and God knows I like to bump my gums.
Well, Bo, that's the best thing about a podcast is that they're marketing machines, really.
Right.
And what you really need to realize about a podcast is that you can get so many different things out of one episode. And you should really check out it'syourshow.com.
Hey, you know what else? You get the realness out of people.
You really do.
You do.
Because they forget that the mic's in front of them. We just have the first 10 or 15 minutes of any podcast, I don't care who you listen to, they're going to be awkward because people are trying to get comfortable, relax, find their flow and rhythm. Right. That's why I throw the random 5 in there. It's a little fun, gets the energy going. Yeah, it just gets the energy going.
Absolutely.
So once you kind of get into a podcast, you're right. It really does. You see people for who they are.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, the idea behind VidSigs was the same way. Eventually, we're just talking. The cameras are just kind of bystanders.
Yeah. You know? Oh, absolutely. I like it because I'm more of a real shooter kind of, I don't like to do the scripted stuff.
You don't really hold back.
No, that's for sure.
Freezerbeef.com is taken.
Yeah.
But freezerbeef.org is not.
Well, we are an organization of
freezerbeef.co. There you go. I think you should run with that because that's a great band name, Freezer Beef.
I think we just start a band called Freezer Beef. I'll back it.
Every now and then I come across just really cool things, concepts and names. And I'm going, ooh, that's a good band name.
Yeah.
And you said it one time in BNI and you said Freezer Beef. I'm like, that's a great band name.
Hey, it is a great band name. We're grateful to be able to kind of laugh about it too. Cause it started during the pandemic. We've always had some on feed and some cattle on feed. And when, beef kind of got scarce in terms of availability of things during the pandemic, we sold the 5 that we had on feed in 2 hours on Facebook.
Yeah.
And my wife did. And then it was just like kind of aha. And we had the availability to get more of them. And yeah, we've grown it. My wife's grown it. And it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And certainly a labor of love too, I guess you should say.
How long is that? You've been doing that all your life, I would imagine. The cattle, the beef and everything.
So my dad's a county extension agent. I grew up on a cattle farm with him. I'm the 5th generation of them, of my family to have them. And we've got some registration papers on the wall from 1901 and 1903 from different breeds. So yeah, my family, my dad's side of the family's had cattle. My mom's side, my grandfather had Charolais since they came to the country in the 60s.
Right.
And so yeah, I'm a real big fan of them. And plus, I tell people all the time, if you want to learn about people, go hang out with some cows. It's true. I mean, we're all mammals. I mean, and at the end of the day, there's alpha females and alpha males like there are within humans, and there's good moms and there's bad moms, and there's crippled ones and there's great ones. And
interesting.
It's all the same. It gives you some different perspective, and I try to learn about how people work just by hanging out with my cows.
So I would say bellbucklebeef.com.
Bellbucklebeef.com.
I would buy freezerbeef.co and then point it towards your main website.
I think we'll do that.
Yeah.
I'll probably get Rachel to do that here in a bit.
Yeah.
So
it's not a bad idea.
Get that going. We know we've got a good website going from our friend Tyler Krause. He's done a good job with that. So we'll shout out to
Conversion
Tyler.
First Marketing.
Conversion First Marketing, baby.
He was on a couple of months ago. Great episode.
Yeah, good dude. And
he brings some fire to a conversation.
Yeah, he's a real good dude. I'd say off the cuff as well too. I mean, he can come with it. He's pretty witty.
So when you watch Yellowstone by chance?
My wife does, and the short answer is no for me. And I don't watch a lot of TV, to be honest. A typical day for me is 4:30 to 5 in the morning. I'm up.
You're not working out though.
I'm carrying feed buckets, if that counts.
That's working out for sure.
Yeah. And
move
so,
that mic down and over because your face is being rubbed. There we go.
There we go.
Perfect.
That better?
That's works.
So yeah, I'm feeding in the morning, checking everything, make sure that everybody's upright. And this time of year, we start calving cows here. Probably it's a little odd, but in the show cattle world, we like those babies to be born in January, February, and March. And so we'll be getting ready for them to start coming about the 1st of January. And those things will calve out, and we'll be checking cows during the night, make sure everything's going good. And then so typical day, up 4:30, 5 o'clock, checking and getting ready, getting my little girl up and going for school, and help my wife there in the house, and then get at it roofing and making sure that I'm traveling either Nashville or Franklin or.
Is it mostly Nashville and Franklin?
Williamson, Davidson, Rutherford, Wilson County. I'm blessed to be able to travel greater Nashville.
And you've become such a well-known name in the industry around here because you've been at it so long.
Yep, company's done a great job of growing, and not only growing, but growing the business in the right way. So we're very stable company, going to be here a long time, and that gives our customers, some peace of mind to know that if something does happen, we're going to be here to come take care of them and still be around.
You're pretty outspoken about even other local competitors that don't live up to certain, like what your standards are set high, and that's why you're successful. Right?
Yeah, I mean they're set high. We are certified with certainty and GAF to the highest degree that we can be.
Are you one of the few firms out there that are?
Yeah, it's pretty. With GAF, to be a master elite, you've got to be invited to be part of that program. We've been with them 10 or 12 years now. I'd have to go out and look, but it's one of the few. And respected roofing companies get that designation. You got to be invited to be in that, and then you got to pay them to stay in it and do things the way that they want done. And then same with certainty. And we feel those are two of the best manufacturers out there. So the industry has set high standards. We set high standards for ourselves, and I think some of that just comes from the people in our company, whether it's Jordan or Brother Justin or myself or people in the office. We're all like-minded folks. We want to do the right thing all the time and be honest about it. And I'm just one of those guys that time is fleeting, and we don't have a set amount of it. And so I'm not going to beat around the bush. I'm going to tell you the most direct way. And some people like that, some people don't. You still
have couth though when it comes to it. There's a way of telling people what they need to hear.
Yeah, I have couth, and I guess sometimes I lose the couth.
Yeah,
I know what I need to say. I know how I need to say it, but sometimes my patience for people's lack of
your BS meter is highly attuned.
Yeah, pretty much. I guess you could say that. Yeah.
But I could see that totally, and I understand that.
Yeah, no, I mean, I guess until people, if you're not like that and you feel like you are, get comfortable in your own skin, then you'll be a lot better off for sure.
Getting into the roofing side of things, going from insurance in 2008-09, was that a tough transition to make? Because you're you're not unfamiliar with sales.
No, that's really what helped. I mean, so I'll kind of credit a lot of this back to 4-H and my I guess that was one of the earliest networking things, truthfully at the end of the day, because a lot of the people that I got started with were people that I had relationships because they knew and they trusted me and they liked me from my days in 4-H or they were in the cattle business or they were in the walking horse business with me. And I didn't have a hard transition. And to be honest with you, my first year in the business, I made twice as much as I did selling roofing. I made twice as much selling roofing as I did selling insurance.
Oh, wow.
And
Well, the appeal for insurance is the recurring revenue over time.
Yeah, I mean, it's a smaller premium, a roof's a bigger deal, and da-da-da-da. But, you know, I was very fortunate that I had some connections to some big properties that had some damage, and we were able to help them get that resolved. And, you know, along the way, I made some. So,
were there hiccups in the beginning of that business? Because you were there from ground zero.
I mean, more hiccups from a personal standpoint, staying busy, you know, until the phones just started ringing from past customers or insurance agents that refer you around or property managers, whatever the case is. Now it is really, it's really easy to stay in tune. But, you know, when you start out, you got to be able to pay your bills. And if you're not, you know, the challenge is now being able to
scale.
Well, just to get to make it through the slow times. I mean, that was the hardest time because we did have a couple slow months or slow times during it. And of course your bills don't slow down.
Right.
And, so yeah, but I was able to withstand that. And I think that was probably the biggest thing early on was just the slow periods.
Even working with installation crews and, you know, the types of people that you get in a trade, which hopefully that tide is turning now. I think now that the country is having more of a favorable look and view and perspective of the trades in general, because they're highly needed.
Oh, man.
There's so many people out there that can just make bank. You know, if you're coming out of high school or even college and you want to do a trade, abso-freaking-lutely, learn a trade.
Yeah.
You know?
College isn't for everyone. I mean, and I get that. I mean, truthfully, it really wasn't for me. I was hell-bent on graduating.
Did you want to go?
Yeah, I wanted to go. I wanted to go and do college and do the experience of college. And I thought when I went, that's what I was going to have to do. But to be honest with you, some of the most successful people I ever met never spent a day in a college class.
They bucked the system.
And then just
rely on themselves.
Worked hard, you know, and knew that what they were doing was right. And they were very fortunate in that they were there at the right time in the right place. But I think you create a lot of your own luck, regardless of where or when it happens. I mean, but yeah, I mean, college helps, no doubt. I mean, it teaches you about some things you know, that you can't learn, just on your own. But
my daughter's getting into the mode of looking around at colleges. We've got a meeting with Karen Feemster on Tuesday.
Oh, yeah.
But now she's starting to think about college. She's a junior. And I tell her, look, you need, she wants to, I want to go out of state. Why do we want to go out of state? Well, because I want to see what it's like to live in a big city. No. That's not the reason to go to college.
No.
We're going to pull you back down to earth here and figure this out.
Hey, when I went, I started at University of Tennessee on a scholarship and got up there, and my roommate and my two suite mates were all pledging. My dad wouldn't let me pledge at the time because, hell, there was no way I could afford it, And he said, no. He said, when I was in fraternity up there, I was a junior. You can't do it. So I got up there, and I had a job at the cafeteria there at the campus in the presidential courtyard. And I would go down there and work and cook cheesesteaks and all that. And I liked the people. I didn't really like the job and stuff. It was just whatever. But I would go to the campus grocery store with money that I had, and I would buy cartons of cigarettes. $13 a carton, Jim, in 1995.
Gonna love it.
And I would go to the presidential courtyard, and I sold cigarettes and lighters and rolling papers and stuff like that.
So you were enterprising even back then.
Yeah, I sold plasma like probably a lot of college kids did too, so.
Did you have that kind of like a bent like that growing up as a kid?
Yeah, I mean, I was always
selling candy in school or anything like that?
I was selling cows or selling stuff like that. I mean, I had been fairly successful and as a young kid showing, and sold some cattle for pretty good money and sold some hogs for pretty good money. We grew up, I had not only the cattle, but we had hogs and we had sheep and had a pony or two, but I was competitive in whatever I am competitive in whatever I do. I don't care if we're playing dominoes or shooting ball or whatever. I'm going to try to beat you.
Yeah.
And so the hog thing was very successful for us when we were able to sell boars. A lot of people were still raising their own hogs and things like that, which is gone away now. I mean, it's completely changed. And so I was selling animals. I wasn't selling popcorn and peanuts or things like that.
Those are big ticket items, though.
For a kid. Yeah, for a kid like that. But we were selling, like in the 90s, I was selling boars for $2,500, $3,000, $4,000. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, that was
now,
pretty good
are you
money.
getting commissions off that? Are they owned by somebody else?
No, those were ours. We were raising them. We raised the litters, and it was my 4-H project. Right. And so it made us some money.
Well, I mean, how do you, when you sell an animal like that, are you learning sales fundamentals at the time?
Oh, absolutely. Because you got to stand behind them.
Yeah.
Because if they don't breed and they don't perform for the people you sell them to,
that's a problem.
That's a problem.
Yeah.
And within the breed associations, there are certain, things like that are set forth for helping breeders with breeding and soundness guarantees and things like that. And we try to honor those and make sure that we're putting stuff out there for people to benefit their farming operation as well. So yeah, there's a lot of uncertainties within it, but those were ones that we were having a good time doing it too.
You were always selling something, it sounds like. So you had that instinctual talent kind of just imbued in you since you were young, which translated, why didn't you just stick with the cattle side of things? Why did you go to insurance at some point?
Well, so I
mean, it's nice that it led you to roofing.
Yeah, absolutely. Sure. Yeah, no doubt. I just didn't ever see farming as being a way of getting to where I wanted to get.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah, from a financial standpoint, it's real hard.
Did you have high aspirations financially for yourself?
Yeah, I think we all did. I think,
I don't know if I did.
I
was in radio for so many years.
Yeah, I mean, I always wanted to hit it big or do something big and do it. And I guess that wasn't so much about the money as it was I wanted to be successful and do the best. And I had an old man tell me one time, he said, what do you want to do? I said, I want to be successful. He said, well, what does that mean?
Yeah. What does it mean?
And I was like, I said, it's a combination of things. And I think that's what I learned from him too, is that, the money will come if you're successful at what you do, meaning you take care of those people and you do the things that you've got to do or how you want to be treated, and then the money will come. Do
you get up every day that's supercharged to do what you're about to do? You love what you do?
Yeah, every morning I get up and I look out the window. The back window faces the east. Mm-hmm. And, whether there's pink coming up over the ridge in the back or it's pitch black or whatever, it doesn't matter. I'm tickled pink because, it's, there's a lot of people that don't get to do half the things that I have been able to. And this is not about not many people get to live.
Right.
And so I'm grateful for that opportunity.
In so many different ways of, quote unquote living. Not just being able to get up or dying.
Yeah.
Some people just don't realize they're living in a prison. You know? That's why I asked was, are you excited not to have gratitude that you were able to get up again, that you were able to put 2 feet on the floor, take a big, deep breath of air? That's all gratitude stuff. Yeah. But for your day lying ahead, are you excited?
Absolutely. Yeah. It's just, and
my brother once told me, if you're getting up every day, asking yourself, why do I have to do this again? You're not doing the right thing.
You're not doing the right thing. Yeah. And I think sometimes people just,
they get trapped.
And they'll get to that where they don't think, when truthfully at the end of the day, I think as long as somebody has the ability to get up and walk outside and just take in the traffic down there, take in the school letting out over here, take in the cloud or whatever, there's gratitude and all that because people don't get to do that or get to enjoy it like you and I do.
You drive or walk right by it.
Yep.
Sometimes we walk out of the front of this place and the sunsets are just spectacular.
Yeah.
One of the guys we had on a few weeks ago, Travis Watson, I was about to head out. It was a Friday when we recorded, And he says, do you mind if I just sit on the front bench and smoke a cigar and watch the sunset? Dude, absolutely. Go right ahead. Knock yourself out. Good friend of mine. I trust him. And that's what he did. He just wanted to watch the sunset.
Well, I tell you,
I need to do that more often.
Well, I want, we're very blessed that over there in Bell Buckle, where our bellbucklebeef.com comes from.
You're in God's country out there.
It is very beautiful, and it makes me smile every day. And I encourage people to come out and check out.
Don't encourage. They will. They're coming here in droves.
Man,
so you might be overrun by Californians here shortly.
That's why I was a few minutes late getting here. I mean, the traffic coming off of Buckner now. Thought it was bad before, but it's backed up to Kroger and Bojangles when I got down there.
Yeah, you remember when Kroger wasn't there?
Yeah.
It was a nursery.
I remember when Cool Springs was a cow farm, cuz.
That's way before my time.
Man, it's changed a bunch.
I bet.
But we're glad to have everybody.
Remember Kelly Rice? She does her presentation and she showed, because Kelly Rice, who was also part of the What's Your Problem podcast a few episodes back.
Great dentist, my dentist.
She does a great job. Yeah. She has a picture of her office before everything was built in Cool Springs.
It was the only thing there.
The only thing.
It was the only thing there. And
she was like the house in Up. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, it's really cool. I mean, to see, I guess, growth and all that. But that's, I'm probably good. I'm good with it now.
Yeah, what can you do about it, right?
Nah, it's coming.
Yeah, it's going to be coming. And it's not a bad thing to kind of get in before all that stuff kind of starts to pop.
Yeah.
I wish I bought property down in Columbia back in 06, 07.
Yeah. But, I mean, just anywhere around here, you just get some.
What you thought was expensive at the time is not so expensive anymore.
No.
Yeah, it's a bargain.
It is a bargain.
But moving on to, let's see, the pertinent things here.
What's your problem?
What is your problem? What are you dealing with? Other than freezer beef. And that's not a problem, though, because you love beef.
That's not a problem. I guess I don't have a whole lot of problems that I'm dealing with. I think a problem that I have, though, in terms of, just we've talked a lot about the beef today. And I think misinformation about agriculture and how animals and plants and all that now, and the GMOs, and people are scared of this and scared of that. And, there's been some negative press probably on some farming things, and people, get into that GMO thing a lot. And I
what is it that they're getting into, or
they think the grain, that those modified organisms are changing their body or bringing in cancer. And I'll be honest with you. Yeah, the chickens are bigger, the cows are bigger, the cows are better. But as a farmer, I have not modified anything.
Right.
And what I want to tell people is that, how I mentioned how you learn a lot about cattle. Well, think about this. The cattle that we have today are better and bigger and stronger because of selective breeding. And I reference this back to people. The girls today, my daughter is a beautiful child. She's a lot prettier. I love my great-great-grandmother, but she's a lot prettier girl than what my great-great-grandmother was all those years ago. And that's the same with anybody's, because selective breeding.
Yeah.
People want to, it's just inherently bred into any mammal. And so I think the cattle have been better because we've been better. We understand them better. The chickens are bigger because we understand them better. The corn's better because we understand it better. We know so much more about it. And I think at the end of the day, there are companies out there that put some narratives out there that really hurt what farmers are trying to do. And the American farmers are getting stiffed when it comes to the profits of what these commodities are bringing, whether it's cattle, hogs, grains, it doesn't matter. And I think, I see a lot of people, and I see a lot of my friends posting on Facebook and other social, and that's the only social media I get on, to be honest with you. I just don't have time. But it's hard for a lot of them, and there's a great number of farmers committing suicide out there.
Really?
Oh, it's crazy because of the stress that they're on and under to make a profit, feed their family, keep the farm. Tractors now. I priced out a tractor, a brand new tractor, and A brand new tractor for what I need to run a hay baler and all that, a round baler and all that. Brand new's over $125,000.
Oh my gosh.
You know, for one tractor.
What was it back in the 80s? Something like that.
Well, I mean, you had, of course, the 80s and all that. You had the high interest rates. Well, we're going to get back to that at any rate. But, you know, those tractors at the time were, you know, 30, 40, something like that. I mean, but let's back it up just a few years. The same tractor was $125,000 that I priced a month ago. 2 years ago, 2 years ago, pandemic time, that tractor would have cost me $81,000.
So the inflation hit it that hard.
Oh man, and you magnify that when you start. It's just like within the roofing too, in the home building. When you start taking the inflation and adding that on, the cost of money and what it's called. Yeah, I mean it's hitting it hard.
Was it the chip shortage that caused that a little bit too?
I don't know. I mean, some
because it hit the card business hard.
But steel's been high. You know, your processing cost, all your shipping costs have been magnified. When you magnify every little thing and put monstrous inflationary numbers on every little input, then it's a big number at the end of the day. And so, yeah, farmers are taking it on the chin when it comes to, you know, making good money and being able to pay their bills because they pay the same diesel, they pay the same, you know, kind of costs for everything that we have to pay to live, and you know they're making less money and less money and less.
Their
money.
margins get thinner and thinner.
Yeah, but think about what you pay if you were to add up. And I don't know the exact number right now, but I think it's somewhere around $6,000. What if you were to go buy all the retail cuts of a steer that you get from putting one up whole?
Right.
$6,000 is what that thing is, and at the end of the day,
is that processed or unprocessed?
That's after all the processing and all that stuff.
Okay.
But they're bringing about $1,900 a fat steer is off to the person that's feeding them out.
Is it being lost in translation? Is the cost not going up on the farmer's side or the?
No, there's a big, and you can research it and people can research it some more, but there's 3 big packers in this country that dominate everything. One of them's Brazilian owned, JBS, and you know Smithfield is Chinese owned. So there's a lot of foreign owned companies that are controlling our food, and you know I encourage people to look into that a little bit more.
Really?
Yeah, because I mean, there's truthfully those JBS, they're running a little bit more profit to their pockets than they are to anybody else's. Promise you. And it's just crippling the consumer too. They're paying more out there, and
you're seeing so many boutique, grass-fed type of approaches to what you're doing. And it's so funny because we're not even talking about roofing, but I mean, this seems to be you always mention it, and it seems to be something that you love. Yeah. Is that something that's kind of playing into it as well?
Well, there's not enough places to process the cattle locally. I mean, with the cost of what it takes to start one and what it takes to keep one certified, USDA certified plant, is not cheap. And you know, there's not a lot of them out there, and they're staying full. And I think there's a lot of the farmers that are getting smarter about that and selling more farm to table, directly to the consumer, farm to family, if you will. And so that way they're making more money for their family, but they're also delivering a fresher product. And at the end of the day, for the consumer, whether it's me or whoever, we want you as a consumer to have a good beef experience. If you're not, then you're going to be a little bit more hesitant about buying it next time.
But can that farmer process his own steer?
I mean, you can. It's hard. I mean, you can't do it and sell it.
Right.
I mean, it's got to be USDA.
That's what
a facility. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's got to be a facility that's USDA inspected.
Yeah.
And you know, it's not like going hanging your own deer and processing and doing all that. You can if you've got it, but I mean, I don't do it. It's, you know, I'll pay somebody to do that. They got the facilities. I don't.
But then for the farm to table type of approach,
yeah,
and maybe that's where the premium aspect comes into it, because it's less commoditized, generic, I guess, and more specialized, your selling points on that beef are more, I guess, speaking the language of the organic shopper.
Yeah, I mean,
right?
it is more organic because, you know where it's coming from.
Right.
And people ask us, we get people that ask, are you grass fed? And the simple answer is, well, they're all grass fed. I mean, at some point them cattle are eating grass, and ours specifically, they're on grass till they're about 750, 800 pounds.
Right.
And then they go to a feed facility, and it's not a feed lot. They're all under roof. It's a really nice facility, and there's about 1,000 head on feed that have access to shelter and clean water and clean hay and feed all the time. And they're eating any chance they want.
Nothing else to do.
Nothing else to do.
Do they you have dairy cows too?
Nope. No dairies, just beef.
You have LED lights in your facilities that you keep them in?
I do, actually. I've got
Has that made a difference?
halos. Yeah. It is very good. I mean, the light in our barn is a lot better.
Yeah.
Especially for getting them ready, because we show these things too, and I won't dive off into that, but I encourage people to look up what showing cattle is, because it's like being a barber for cows.
Oh, I bet. Yeah, there's a definite talent in doing that as well. The reason why I bring up the LEDs thing is that there was a study, and you know that's part of my business.
Yep.
There was a study done on dairy cows, I want to say, in Wisconsin, back in probably 10 years ago, when LEDs were beginning to start getting a little bit more popularized. This one dairy farm went to all LED, and yeah, they saved a lot of money on their energy and electric bills.
I know
and
what you're
things
going
of
to
that
say.
nature.
I know what you're going to say.
Their output of milk was like 30% because the cows all of a sudden could relax. It was something about the lighting that was making them tense up.
Not only that, but I mean the side effects of that, really what it comes down to is being well lit. It's not like a dark, dungy place. They don't have to be on guard all the time.
Right.
But at the same time, what is that artificial sun doing? Promoting vitamin D.
Yeah.
And so you're getting a lot more production. That's another reason we keep, like if we're in the fall of the year with horses or whatnot, they'll put those mares under lights, and or in January, February, they'll start putting them under lights to get them to come in heat early.
Oh, really?
Yes, daylight will cause them to cycle.
I guess so, yeah. The LEDs really do help with that.
Yeah.
It's almost akin to sunlight. So with that being said, moving into the roofing aspect of things, what kind of goals do you have with that?
It's kind of a goal that kind of I guess it came into its own. I've been very blessed to work with a lot of different insurance agents and agencies, and I love that because I get a individual interaction with homeowners that's different every time. And I love that because it keeps my job, or it keeps me on my toes, I guess,
Yeah.
And I meet a lot of new cool people that way. My niche is within the property management world and dealing with HOAs and COAs and business owners associations on their properties with regard to large loss. And we've got a really good team of people in place to help with that. And it starts with us helping with the inspection and knowing what's there. And if there is damage, we kind of help through that process. And we've been able to help some good HOAs and good property managers get resolution to some roofing issues at the expense of the insurance company.
I got to say, there's an inspiration that comes along with everything that you're doing. And I really need to reconsider it and adopt a lot of those tactics for myself, because I spin a whole bunch of different plates, similar to you. Mm-hmm. And there's another guy out there. His name is Corey Smith. Do you know Corey?
No, I don't.
They call him Lawn Boy. He does lawn mowing and such.
Yeah.
But he also has a bacon business. So he's out there on Facebook talking about both, and unabashedly, you know, and as he should. And for him, it just makes sense. I'm like, I really need to be, not that this past year allowed us to talk too much about lights and lighting, but moving forward, I got to add that into the mix.
Absolutely, because you never know. And I'll be honest, I wouldn't be in the roofing business if I hadn't have been in the cattle business.
Yeah.
And so I always try to give homage to that. And look, people like to eat, and they want to eat and got to eat. And, you know, so I do have roofing customers that buy beef, and we end up talking about it. And then sometimes people just go like, really, you show cows? And like, what do you do? And
how many other things do you do?
Sold a cow for how much?
Yeah.
And I'm like,
this is the day in the life of Bo, man.
I don't know. It's just, you know, life is a lot of different things, but boring is not one of them.
Something for many people it is.
And that's unfortunate, man.
Yeah.
I hope they find they're happy, because it sure is fun out here, I think.
Well, at least you're having a good time.
Yeah, I think so.
And I think that you do wonderfully at everything that you do. You're my go-to for roofing, and whenever we get an extra freezer in the garage,
hey, that's all good. Whenever
we
we
have to fill it with some beef.
You know, and I got people that call me just because I'm not telling them what everybody else thinks is telling them, you know.
No, you definitely shoot from the hip.
Yeah.
And that's...
from the heart. I mean, I shoot it from the heart. And if it comes from my hip, that's good.
Yeah.
You know, but everything's coming from the heart, first and foremost.
Yeah, it's funny. You've gotten up in front of the B&I chapter a couple of times and said, don't use X insurance company.
Yeah, I'm not going to do that on here.
I know. That's why I said X.
but
you know nobody. I know. Well, how do people discover you and find you and follow you and everything?
You know, I'm pretty limited on my social media.
Yeah. We never talked about your wife, Rachel.
My wife Rachel and her horses. Yeah. You know, Rachel's more of the Facebooker. She does all the beef stuff, and without her, I wouldn't be anywhere. I'm telling you, she drives it. Big help, but she's more the Facebooker. You can find out information about Teague Premium Beef at bellbucklebeef.com. And, you know, you can reach out to me, Bo Teague. I'm on Facebook, but you can also reach out to me. I'm sure Jim will share my contact info.
Absolutely.
And I don't mind you calling me, and we can talk about whatever.
Well, all the contact information will be in the description, so make sure you seek that out and follow along on Facebook, and even following Rachel's stuff, which I think she's on Instagram, I believe.
Yeah, she's on Instagram, Rachel Teague. She has a lot of that stuff, and I tell people's like Teague, and it's just Teague, like a football league. That's you know,
that's true.
I do have. I will say I have to kind of say I have one of the best fantasy football names, because not everybody can use it, but I am National Football Teague.
Nice.
How about that?
The League of Teague.
The League of Teague.
Well, there you go. Find, follow, and subscribe all along for all that stuff. And of course, go to whatsyourproblempodcast.com. All the pertinent details are there, the ways to follow along. If you want to watch us or listen to us, you can do so. All the links are there. And again, please subscribe, follow, rate, share, and rate. I think I said that in the whole litany of stuff I just said. Make sure you rate us, 5-star rating. That's what I've been told to tell you. So whatsyourproblempodcast.com. Bo, thanks for coming out, my friend.
Jim, thank you so much for having me. I got to do this again. I
Absolutely.
like it. We'll do it on something else besides beef.
We'll have you back.
Sounds good. Thank you, buddy.